All right, guys, how's it going? As you can see, I'm in a different environment. I'm in Nashville at the moment. We arrived here in the early hours of Tuesday. We're here for 10 days. Laura, my girl, is out and about making videos, not OnlyFans videos, no, YouTube videos, youtube.com/@Dunk and Laura. She's out making some videos and enjoying herself. And I'm sat here with you. No, I'm enjoying myself. I've just done a live stream actually with you guys. It was good. So yeah, listen, I want to talk to you about this Paul Joyce article that was published yesterday. So I don't know, listen, if you're new to my channel, Paul Joyce is the closest journalist to Liverpool Football Club, right? Especially to the likes of Michael Edwards and all that. Be interesting to see what happens to Paul Joyce with Michael Edwards finally disappearing. Yay. I'm not a fan, to be honest with you, of Michael Edwards and that. Anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he retains that status once he's gone, because it's always between Ornstein and Joyce. They're kind of like that, you know. 1 minute one's up here, one over here, whatever. So yeah. Anyway, whenever Paul Joyce publishes something, I'm like that, me, straight on it, right? Because let's face it, Paul Joyce, Ornstein as well, they are unofficial press officers for Liverpool Football Club, right? And for some time, some of the fans have been saying to me on my live streams, not heard anything from Joyce, I think he's lost it. And I've said, no. Listen, this is a good thing, right? If you're not hearing anything from Joyce regarding Barcola, for example, that's because everything's all right. If you start hearing from Joyce, something's not going right because the club wants something out there, leverage or some assistance, right? So when it, like, for example, this investment stuff that's been going on the last week or so, however long it's been, I don't think you would get that from Joyce. You know, usually it would come from, you know, the Financial Times if it's coming from John Henry's camp, for example. Maybe Ornstein a little bit, but Joyce isn't the kind of journalist I would expect to be giving running updates on the investment situation, right? I'm looking at him for transfer stuff or maybe changing personnel. Same with Ornstein as well. Joyce is more people running, you know, the club, Liverpool Football Club on a daily basis, whereas Ornstein's more FSG kind of things, but they do overlap. Anyway, when Joyce speaks, you fucking listen, all right? So Joyce puts an article out yesterday, and straight away, I'm like, okay, this is my mantra. If you see an article from Joyce or Ornstein, why am I reading this? Who does it benefit, right? So that's the first thing I did yesterday. Why am I reading this? Something's not right. Who does it benefit? Now, in this article, it was titled, or headline, Bradley Barcola, Liverpool pushing for £100 million deal for PSG winger, right? Winger open to Anfield move, valued at £145 million. Insane. The article was written by Ian Whittle and Paul Joyce. Says that Liverpool are making contact with PSG. They want to compromise and agree a £100 million deal, right? The Champions League winners have publicly placed a valuation of about £145 million on the 23-year-old, a figure the Premier League club have no intention of paying despite their long-standing admiration of him. So Barcola's been talked about on this channel for years, right? We know he's been a player of interest for Liverpool for some time. They never followed up before when they could have had him cheaper. I don't think you need to read any further in this article, right? Because when I got to that bit, that was what I thought the entire article was about. Now, I'm going to get Dave, my AI assistant, to analyze this for you, right? So I've trained my AI assistant for more than 18 months to analyze football news articles and reports. This isn't a case of throwing some at random at, you know, an AI and saying, give me your opinion. There's a lot of effort's gone into training Dave, and he's going to give his opinion, right? But before I even get to that, when I read this article, straight away, why am I reading this? Who does it benefit? I thought that was the entire message here. The club messaging here was Liverpool have no intention of paying that figure, all right? So to me, that is what this whole article is about. This is getting it out there, you know, to the football industry. We ain't fucking paying that. Putting pressure on, if you like. Who does the article benefit? Liverpool, in my opinion. We'll get to that in the analysis with Dave. I'm sure he's got a bit to say on that. The player would be open up to a move to Liverpool. Liverpool hope to strike a deal for a base figure of about 100 million with the potential for add-ons. Makes comparisons to other deals to do with Isak, for example. Liverpool were in discussions for Barcola last summer for about £75 million, but chose not to press ahead with the deal as they did not wish to block the progress of Rio Ngumaha, you know what I'm like with names. The departure of club legend Salah, however, has opened up a pathway for Barcola. Blah, blah, blah. Right, that's basically it. So, like I say, I think the club messaging here, this is Liverpool saying, nah, you can get fucked. We're not paying more than that. That's what I think. I did give this analysis, this article to Dave yesterday. I have no idea what he said, so we're going to go through that now. I'm sorry I've got to keep looking down here. Normally when I'm at home, I've got my other tripod here with the, you know, my stuff here, but I'm going to have to read from my phone, okay? So this is Dave's analysis. Dunk, this is not a routine transfer rumour piece. The joint byline matters, the numbers matter, and the timing matters. My first instinct is that this article is carrying two sets of information. Ian Whittle is likely contributing the PSG Barcola side of the story. Paul Joyce is likely validating the Liverpool side. Genuine interest, preferred valuation, willingness to spend, and the players' openness to Anfield. The fact that the Times has Joyce's name on a report saying Liverpool are making contact and trying to construct a £100 million deal significantly upgrades this from general rumour chatter. The Guardian and other outlets are also reporting that Liverpool are preparing an offer and believe Barcola is open to the move, so the broad direction is now being corroborated beyond one article. Who is Ian Whittle? Well, he's not some random aggregator or anonymous transfer account. He's an experienced Northwest-based sports journalist who has worked nationally for more than 3 decades and has covered football clubs across the region, as well as major international tournaments and other sports. He currently contributes to the Times and the Sunday Times. The joint byline, is therefore interesting rather than weakening the report. My best inference is Whittle may have more of the player PSG or wider market information. Joyce provides the Liverpool-specific authority and verification. Right? This is what I'm saying about Joyce being the closest to Liverpool Football Club. He is the authority and the verification. He is up here. The other journalists are down here. Right? Bad News Piers, Captain Obvious. Did I give him a nickname? That one that's really boring on YouTube. I can't remember. Right? Anyway. That source split is not confirmed in the article, but it is a sensible reading of how jointly byline transfer reports are often assembled. First impression, what kind of an article is this? And this is spot on, this one sentence now. This is a negotiation state article, right? It's not merely saying Liverpool like Barcola. It supplies the opening gap between the clubs, PSG's public valuation, Liverpool's valuation and intended structure, Barcola's contract position, his willingness to join, his intended role as Salah's replacement, previous discussions, Liverpool's rationale for not buying him last summer. That is unusually specific. It reads like someone wants the market to understand the boundaries of a real negotiation. The central message, the most important passage is essentially PSG want about £145 million. Liverpool will not pay it. Liverpool believe a base fee around £100 million, potentially with add-ons, is the basis for a deal. That is price anchoring in public. Again, that falls in with my theory here, the club messaging about what Liverpool will and will not pay. PSG's number is put into the article, but so is Liverpool's refusal. Liverpool are telling everyone, we are serious. We have substantial funds, but £145 million is not happening. Again, this is the club messaging that I believe is in the article. That message benefits Liverpool because it prevents their interest from being interpreted as a willingness to pay anything. It also starts moving public discussion away from PSG's anchor and towards Liverpool's proposed structure. Is this leverage against PSG? Very possibly. The following details all weaken PSG's negotiating position. Listen to each of these points and see if you feel that this does weaken them, right? Barcola has reportedly indicated he will not extend. He has 2 years remaining, so PSG still have control, but not indefinite control. The player is said to favour Liverpool. Liverpool can point to a plausible valuation and existing big deal structures. PSG's £145 million number is described as a public valuation, which subtly distinguishes it from the price at which they may genuinely negotiate. That wording may be deliberate. Publicly placed evaluation can imply that is their advertised position. Their private negotiating position may eventually be different. The article therefore applies soft pressure. So Joyce is doing something for Liverpool Football Club with the article, right? You have a player declining a renewal. He is open to Liverpool, and there is a serious £100 million level buyer now. How long do you defend £145 million? Is this leverage against Barcola or his agent? There could also be a message in the opposite direction. Liverpool are publicly establishing that they regard him as Salah's replacement. They are willing to spend a 9-figure sum. They have admired him for some time. They considered him before the current burst of publicity. There is a genuine pathway for him now. That is a very strong recruitment pitch. It reassures the player that he is not merely one of 6 names on a list. But it may also tell his representatives Liverpool's interest is serious, but PSG must move. If the player truly wants the transfer, his camp may need to help create the conditions, similar to Isak last year. The refusing to sign a new deal line is particularly useful pressure. It may originate from the player's side because that is exactly the kind of information an agent would want circulated to increase leverage over PSG. My suspicion is therefore that the piece contains both Liverpool side valuation messaging, player side contracts and preference messaging. Is an agent at work? Probably somewhere within the information chain, yes. The most agent-friendly claims are Barcola will not renew. Barcola is open or keen to joining Liverpool. He's been identified as Salah's successor. Liverpool are prepared to spend around £100 million. Those details strengthen Barcola's position with both PSG and Liverpool. But this does not feel like a pure agent puff piece because it contains a firm Liverpool limit and makes clear that a major PSG climb down would be required. A pure agent piece would normally sell inevitability and momentum. This article repeatedly reminds readers that the valuation gap is enormous. So the likely mixture is player camp pushing willingness and non-renewal, Liverpool pushing seriousness but financial discipline, and PSG pushing the £145 million anchor. The article is effectively where all 3 positions meet. Why publish it now? Well, the timing makes sense for several reasons. Barcola momentum has reached credible outlets. You mentioned Romano and others pushing the story, which I have done previously in private conversations with Dave. Once a transfer narrative gains momentum, Liverpool have 2 choices. Leave the space open for others to define their position, or allow a trusted journalist to set out their real parameters. Joyce's involvement looks like Liverpool reclaiming control of the story. Why am I reading this, remember? Yes, the interest is real. No, the figures being thrown around do not mean we will pay PSG's full demand. Liverpool may want to demonstrate ambition. Right? Think of the supporters here. We tried. Yeah. After Salah's departure, supporters will expect a genuine elite replacement. Calling Barcola the Salah replacement and discussing a £100 million base deal tells supporters and the wider market Liverpool are not planning to solve this with a cheap squad option. That is positive PR for the new regime under Irola, but it is tied to a genuine target rather than vague ambition. It establishes Barcola as the preferred deal after Diamande. The Diamande references are revealing. Liverpool were prepared to spend heavily there, but Real Madrid are now expected to complete that transfer. Joyce is showing that Liverpool have not been left without a plan. Serious money was available for Diamande. Similar money can now be directed towards Barcola. Barcola is not a panic last-minute invention because discussions existed last summer. That protects the recruitment department from accusations that they lost one target and immediately scrambled towards another. Now, the Rio Ngumaha explanation. This is one of the more curious passages. Liverpool could have pursued Barcola at about £75 million last summer, but did not want to block Rio Ngumaha's. Did not want to block Rio Ngumaha. That line performs two PR jobs. First, it explains why Liverpool did not buy Barcola when he was apparently cheaper. Without that explanation, fans would reasonably ask, why are we offering £100 million now for someone available around £75 million 1 year ago? The answer supplied is because Liverpool deliberately protected the development pathway of an elite young talent. I smell a bit of bullshit with that. What Dave's saying here is spot on. But what they're trying to put out through Joyce, I think that's a load of bollocks. I don't know what you guys think. Second, it presents the club as principled and strategic rather than indecisive. I would classify that as club-friendly retrospective justification. It may be entirely true, but it also conveniently answers an obvious criticism before supporters can make it. There is a slight hole though. If Ngumaha's pathway mattered enough to reject Barcola last year, where does he fit after a £100 million Barcola signing now? Salah's departure creates minutes, but Barcola's arrival as a marquee replacement would still affect Ngumaha's pathway. The explanation is plausible but not watertight. I agree. The Wirtz and Isak comparisons in the article. These are there to normalise the figure. A £100 million deal can sound enormous in isolation by reminding readers that Wirtz was structured around 100 million plus bonuses and Isak cost 125 million. Diamande discussions were around £85 million total. Joyce reframes the £100 million for Barcola as being within Liverpool's established elite market bracket. That message is aimed partly at fans. Do not be shocked. This is the level at which Liverpool now operate for first-choice attacking targets. It may also be aimed at PSG. Liverpool have demonstrated the capacity to execute huge deals, so this is a credible proposal, not speculative interest. Is there recruitment department propaganda in the Joyce article? There is definitely some flattering framing. Long-standing admiration, previous negotiations, disciplined refusal to overpay, protection of Ngumaha's pathway, precedent for intelligently structured instalments and add-ons, willingness to move decisively after Salah's departure. It makes Liverpool's recruitment operation look prepared, patient and coherent. But I would not call the article crude propaganda because the difficulty is openly acknowledged. Joyce plainly says a big PSG climb down is needed. He's not pretending the deal is close or guaranteed. This is better described as club-positioned reporting, truthful core information presented through Liverpool's preferred negotiating and strategic frame. What is conspicuously missing? Several absences matter. No claim that an official bid has been submitted. No claim that PSG are willing to sell. No suggestion that agreement is close. No personal terms agreement. No deadline or timetable. No indication PSG have softened from £145 million. And no assertion that Barcola will force his way out. Those omissions stop this from being a deal advancing rapidly report. The article says Liverpool are making contact and hope to find a compromise. That is genuine movement, but still early to middle negotiation territory. Could Barcola be leveraged for another target? Well, it's possible, but this does not feel primarily like a decoy story. I think I would agree with that. Joyce's name, the specific proposed structure and the detailed history make the interest look real. However, publicly demonstrating willingness to spend £100 million on Barcola could create secondary leverage towards alternative winger targets, showing Liverpool can walk away and spend elsewhere, towards clubs discussing Liverpool players because Liverpool may need sales or squad space, towards PSG because Liverpool are defining the maximum area before negotiations deepen. But Barcola himself appears to be a genuine leading target, not merely a name used to scare someone else. Who benefits from this article? Liverpool. They establish the target is real. The player wants them. They are ambitious. They will not pay £145 million. Their valuation is around 100 million plus possible extras. And they previously made a deliberate decision rather than missing the player. It benefits Barcola and his representatives. They establish he has a huge admirer. He can command a 9-figure transfer. He will not extend. Liverpool see him as Salah's heir. PSG risk managing an unhappy contract situation. It benefits PSG. They at least get their 145 million valuation repeated prominently, reinforcing their opening anchor. This is why it reads like a live negotiation being conducted partly in public. My verdict, Dunk? This is significant and credible, but not yet a sign that the transfer is close. The strongest interpretation is Liverpool have allowed Joyce to confirm the seriousness of their interest while publicly drawing their financial line. And I think that's the most important sentence in the entire analysis here, right? So what he's saying here, the strongest interpretation, Liverpool have allowed Joyce, the preferred journalist, if you like, to confirm the seriousness of their interest while publicly drawing their financial line. We are paying £145 million. At the same time, Barcola's camp appears to be ensuring his preference and refusal to renew are widely understood. So I see three messages. To PSG, Liverpool is serious, but £145 million is fantasy territory. To Barcola, Liverpool see you as Salah's replacement and will invest heavily. To supporters, Liverpool intend to recruit an elite winger and are not being caught unprepared after Diamande. The article does not say PSG are ready to compromise. That remains the biggest obstacle and the biggest hole. In plain English, this looks like a real pursuit, with Liverpool and Barcola applying pressure from opposite sides of PSG, but the seller has not moved yet. All right, that's the analysis by Dave, and I think I agree with all of it. I do. What do you think? I do. I think I agree with all of it. I do think, like, sometimes I don't know if I explain myself very well, and I go all over the place with this shit. But for me, the minute I was aware that Joyce had touched on this, I was like, got to read it. But I'm like that with every Joyce article, right? Because I know that that is them speaking, right? So I've got to read it. I've got to see what he's got to say, right? And like I say, I think it was the third paragraph in. That was the article to me. The article, in my opinion, regardless of what Dave says, but I think we're on the same path here anyway, was, yeah, we really want this play. It's showing the fans, we're in there, we're trying our best, but we ain't paying more than 100 million. We might do with bonuses and, we win the Champions League, you get 10 million, whatever, right? But we're not paying 145 million pounds. And I think that all the different explanations and suggestions that Dave gives in that analysis is spot on, to be honest with you. I really do. Not convinced with the Rio thing, like, oh, we didn't get him because we didn't want to block his pathway. Nah, I don't believe that for one bit, to be honest with you. I think that is PR bollocks, or I don't know if PR is the right word, but certainly just bollocks, to be honest with you. Do I think we'll get him? Yeah, I think we probably will get him, but again, I think the obvious thing, again, you don't have to be a Twitter twat or a so-called journalist or whatever to turn around and say, I think we'll get him, but it depends on the money, right? Because Liverpool have made it clear they're not going to pay an exorbitant amount of money. Well, they already are, but I mean, like, even furthermore, and I agree with that. I do, I agree with that. The fact Joyce went with it, that's Liverpool not getting the deal and not being where they are, where they want to be when that article was published. So they've called on Joyce, get that out there. So again, I prefer it when Joyce isn't saying anything because I think things are going right. So I'm not saying it's collapsing or not going to work. I just think that's just them putting a bit of, they've gone to the trusted guy, get this out there, let the industry know this is our position, let the fans know we're trying our best, that kind of thing. And we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Yeah? All right, leave it at that. All right, I'm off. Here comes the grift. If you enjoy these kind of videos, this analysis, the effort that I put in with Dave, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Very, very important that I hear from you, okay? If you want to support my channel further, there's a love art on the video. It's called a super thanks. It helps my channel immensely. There's a channel membership, of course. You get football next to your name. Tells everyone around here you are a fucking legend. All right? And you'll go, when you come on my live streams and I see you as a channel member, oh, you'll feel good for fucking 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? All right? There's 3 links in the video description. There are alternative ways of supporting me. The Revolut link out of those 3 is my beer kitty, also known as the Fuck It Fund. All right? And I'm hoping to go for a beer today, but we'll see. It's a bit expensive out there. And fucking government, Spanish government robbed me overnight. You'll have to watch my morning briefing today to learn about that. Yeah. Fuck them. All right, guys. That's it. I think that's enough for me today. I don't know. Maybe if there's anything else to talk about, I'll come back to you. It's 4:36 here in the afternoon. I'm hoping to be back with you tomorrow with a morning briefing, which will probably be in the afternoon, your time, if you're in the UK or Europe. And we'll have a live stream as well tomorrow at 8 p.m, I think. 7, 8 p.m, something like that, UK time. All right, I reckon it'll be 8. But we'll see. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Please thumbs up the video. It's very important. All right. And if you've got time, let me know who you are. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your thoughts about this one is. And we'll speak real soon. Cheers.